Good evening, it's 8 o'clock. The top headlines tonight: get vaccinated India. People over 45 can get the jab from today. 34 crore people are now eligible for vaccinations. Vaccines will be given throughout April and holidays too. Double shifts now in Mumbai. This as India cases cross 72,000, the first time since October. A worrying rise in deaths as well, over 450. At the Mahakumbh, meanwhile, thousands of devotees, millions have gathered. They ask, what corona? An election eve oversight, a U-turn by the finance minister on cuts on small savings. Voting today, top leadership of the BJP was upset over the cuts, so the decision reversed. Oversight or hindsight, asked the opposition. The government issued a notification saying now there will be no small savings rate cut, at least till June end.
Completely intimidating pictures, let me tell you, unprecedented. I don't know how this is going to be resolved, but a complete failure of any kind of normal machinery in this seat of Nandigram.
Monideepa reporting from Nandigram. Between Mamta's fight to the finish as she clashes with BJP workers, she calls the governor from a polling booth. The Prime Minister says Didi has accepted defeat. Pune now has over 8,000 cases, India's highest lockdown in Nandurbar. Worries meanwhile over a Mumbai lockdown. Some migrants start to leave. Hotel and restaurant owners hold protests today saying Mumbai should not lock down. The Pakistan Prime Minister reverses the decision on Indian imports. Imran Khan overrules his foreign minister, says no India imports with 370 restored. Well, India's response awaited, but of course, Pakistan can't interfere in our internal affairs. Our lead story tonight, well, India has opened up vaccinations for all people above 45 today, led by chief ministers, ministers, MPs, others coming out to get vaccinated as they fell within that age group. Because, of course, for India, vaccinations is so urgent now because we have to beat the virus amidst a huge second surge. Just let's look at these numbers. India has now crossed in the last 24 hours over 72,000 cases. This is the highest since October. Also, the vaccination, if you look at what our vaccination changes were, we had over 6.5, but that's still only about 5% of India's population. But look at that, we can see the second surge very clearly. India now at over 72,000, many states touching record highs. Once again, deaths also growing worryingly, deaths now crossing over 450. But let's just look at the whole surge of cases. But first, India getting vaccinated. Reports from across India.
Rajesh Shah and many others made sure they got the jab on the first day they became eligible. As a chemist, he interacts with hundreds of people a day in Mumbai, which is seeing a massive surge in cases.
Everybody has to take, and there is very good facilities over here. Nothing have to worry. All the people and the doctors are very good, very cooperative.
Mumbai officials plan to vaccinate 1 lakh people a day, up from the current 45,000, and work in double shifts from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. There's similar pressure in smaller cities too. In eastern Uttar Pradesh's Gorakhpur, Professor Pramod Kumar Shukla and his family said they'd been living in fear of the virus.
हम लोग पूरा परिवार दहशत में कई महीनों तक हम लोग अगस्त से लेकर आज तक दहशत में रहे कि कब कुछ मिले जिससे हमको निजात मिल सके. शुक्रिया है इसका और धन्यवाद है इस प्रयास का कि हम लोगों को आज कोरोना वैक्सीन मिली.
In Delhi, private and government hospitals are running vaccine centers 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 46-year-old Meenakshi Pandey explains why even homemakers like her were waiting for today.
मैं हाउस वाइफ हूँ वैसे, लेकिन हम लोग मार्केट जाते हैं, सब्जी लानी है, दूध लाना है, तो कोरोना तो है ही, अभी गया नहीं है, तो अपनी फैमिली के प्रोटेक्शन के लिए जो है मैंने वैक्सीन लगवाया.
In Chennai, 51-year-old Mathiarasu, a software professional, already caught COVID 6 months ago but wants to prevent a reinfection.
Actually, I was positive a couple of months back.
You recovered?
I got recovered. Now I got vaccinated. I got my first dose today. It was a difficult period. Okay, so
You were hospitalized?
yeah, I was hospitalized. Here only I was for 5 days.
The government had announced that it plans to vaccinate 30 crore people by July 2021. And with vaccinations now being opened up for this new category, it is hopeful that the vaccination numbers will finally pick up pace. In New Delhi with camera person Sushil Rathi, this is Sukirti Dwivedi for NDTV.
And let's just look at this data. Let's just analyze a bit. So while we're saying India's over 72,000 cases, we are actually up 300% in the last 1 month. That's 50% versus 50% over the first wave peak. So just look at how rapidly the cases are rising now as compared to the first wave. Also, states like Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, which so far had relatively lesser cases, are rising much faster than their September peak. So the cases hitting an almost 6-month high today. This is what it looks like compared to the September peak. And UP and Bihar, worryingly extremely populous states, showing a huge surge as well. The big worry, of course, remains Maharashtra. Let's just look at the numbers. Now, Pune is the city with the highest number of cases in India today at over 8,000. So there already they've been told to handle, the Pune Municipal Corporation has told them to actually handle their own debt. That's what families are being told. The ward officer is being given who will provide body bag and 4 PPE kits. But just look at the Pune numbers. A lockdown also announced in Nandurbar as numbers rising in Maharashtra. So as this is happening in Mumbai, now remember of course that Maharashtra is a major provider of GDP, one of the major India's financial capital, Mumbai. Now migrants in slums like Dharavi are now say they want to head back again because they're worried that there will be a lockdown announced in this week.
No lockdown, but some migrant workers are leaving Mumbai.
और गरीब एक बार फंस जाता है उसको कोई देखने भी नहीं आता है. मैंने 3 महीने दिल्ली में रहे, 1 रुपए का बच्चे को टाफी भी नहीं मिली और दुनिया को देख रहे बड़े-बड़े आदमियों को हर चीज मिल रहा है.
Munna is a migrant worker from Uttar Pradesh. He works currently at a garment factory in Dharavi. His family is in a village. And now Munna wants to go back too, fearing a lockdown in Maharashtra. He has already inquired for a train ticket to go back on Sunday.
हम इसमें गरीब लोग परेशान होते हैं. जी सरकार तो बड़े-बड़े आदमियों का पेट भर देगी, हम जैसे गरीबों को नहीं भरेगी. हम तो जहाँ पड़े हैं वहीं पड़े रहेंगे, हमें कोई देखने नहीं आएगा. और जाते समय डंडे और मिलते हैं. किसी तरीके से आदमी जाना भी चाहता है ना तो 1000 रुपये का भाड़ा होता है तो 5000 रुपये भाड़ा देना पड़ता है और डंडे अलग से लगते हैं. इसलिए हम लोग सोच रहे हैं कि अभी पहले निकलने से फायदा क्या है जो बीच में फंस जाएं.
Salman, co-worker from Munna, is from Bijnor district. He has got a train ticket for Sunday and he says he doesn't want to stay back and he doesn't trust the government now.
विश्वास ही नहीं है पूरा हो या कैसे हो, इसलिए गांव जाना है. घर वाले भी बुला रहे हैं कि आ जाओ, इससे पहले लॉकडाउन लगे.
Dharavi, Asia's largest slum, has an economy estimated at $1 billion. It's run mainly on the back of migrants, who are about 3 out of every 4 people here. Now the reverse migration slowly started. Alam Khan and many others are desperately trying to stop the workers from going home. Khan had 12 workers a fortnight ago. Now only 5 are left.
कैसे समझेंगे लोग? पिछले टाइम ऐसी 15 दिन, 22 दिन, 20 दिन बोल के 6-6 महीने लॉकडाउन लग गए. वही डर अभी भी इनके मन में बसी हुई है. सीएम उद्धव जी अगर सामने आके लाइव बोल देवें कि ऐसा कुछ नहीं लॉकडाउन होना है, आपको भागने की जरूरत नहीं है, लोगों के मन से जो डर है निकल जाएगा, लोग भागेंगे नहीं.
कारखाने में अगर 10 कारीगर हैं तो उसमें 6 जा चुके हैं, 4 हैं, तो वो भी 4 है वो भी चले जाएंगे. ऐसी सिचुएशन है.
The state government says that if at all there is a lockdown, it will be only for a limited number of days. But still, the memories of a last lockdown still haunt the workers here in Dharavi. In Dharavi with camera person Praveen Ji Rohit, this is Pooba Chitnis for NDTV.
Well, as we are looking at what's happening in Maharashtra, the explosion, also the worry over rise in Uttarakhand, the state where, of course, the Mahakumbh has begun. And this, of course, it happens only once in 12 years. But this year it's happening amid a massive surge in cases. But as Akshay reports, for the devout who've come here, they're asking, what is corona? We're not going to get it.
मन चंगा तो कटौती में गंगा, तो इसीलिए वहाँ भी गंगा पहुँच जाएगी अगर विश्वास होगा तो. आत्मा में विश्वास है तो गंगा मैया जहां जहां वो भक्त का पुकारेगा वहीं पहुंच जाएगी.
An appeal for COVID protocols to be followed on day 1 of Haridwar's iconic once in 12 years Mahakumbh. From its most famous Juna Akhada sadhus. But are people listening?
ये सब अफवाह फैला रहे हैं बस, और कुछ नहीं है.
आपको लगता नहीं कोरोना असली है?
ऐसे ही असली नहीं है, खाली एक राजनीति का बोल चल रहा है बस.
गंगे मैया के सामने होते हो डर किस बात का? ये माँ है हमारी, यहाँ पे किस बात का डर?
This COVID testing camp set up by the Uttarakhand government at the Kumbh venue remained largely empty on day 1.
बहुत ही कम लोग आ रहे हैं अभी. उम्मीद है शाम तक बढ़ जाए, लेकिन अभी तक कुछ हुआ नहीं है.
While no official figures or a comparison from last time was available, many at the Mahakumbh said day 1 crowds this time were much thinner.
भीड़ कुछ नहीं है इस बार. जो 2010 में था कुंभ उससे डिपेंड है. अभी 10% भीड़ है. लग ही नहीं रहा हरिद्वार में वो कुंभ का स्नान हो रहा है.
These have already been made. The challenge before us right now is how to sustain all these facilities. With regard to COVID, there is a very detailed SOP that has been issued by the government of...
As Kumbh has officially started, millions of devotees are expected to arrive in Haridwar in the upcoming days. While the administration has assured all the appropriate arrangements, strict adherence to the COVID guidelines and implementation of all the rules by the local administration will hold the key to ensure that there is no spread of COVID-19 because of this religious gathering. With camera person Ashok Mahale and colleague Dinesh Mansera, I'm Akshay Dungre for NDTV.
Well, moving to politics and elections, because while religious festivals are continuing, so are election campaigns, and a major reversal, a rates cut announced yesterday for small saving schemes, a major cut. Last night was announced that saving deposits were going from 4 to 3.5%, senior citizen saving schemes from 7.4 to 6.5%, and PPF to 6.4%. But here's the good news. The finance minister tweeted this morning that within 24 hours, it was back to what the current status is, and these will stay till June end. Guess why? Because apparently the BJP top leadership was furious. These rate cuts were announced just on election eve in Bengal and Assam.
As U-turns go, the timing of this one is perhaps unprecedented. Calling it an oversight, the finance minister, no less, undid the order which slashed interest rates in schemes which largely benefit the middle class and senior citizens. Some of the cut rates were lower than the current inflation rate, meaning depositors would effectively lose out. Oversight soon started trending on social media. Nirmala Sitharaman's order came less than 12 hours after ministry published the rate cuts. But more importantly, just as voting began in West Bengal and Assam, the opposition attacked her move. The TMC's Mahua Moitra tweeted, "What is the biggest April Fool's joke here? That a now rolled back small saving rate cut was issued by oversight, or that Nirmala Sitharaman is the finance minister of this country?" Yashwant Sinha, who recently joined the Trinamool, tweeted, "Roll back Modi," while taking a dig at the finance minister, saying this government had outdone even him when he was finance minister when it came to rollbacks. The Congress's Priyanka Gandhi Vadra called the decision election-driven.
This was a severe attack on the middle classes to reduce the interest rates on savings of the poor families, of middle-class families who have worked years together to deposit money in those schemes. It was a blatant attack on the middle classes of our country.
The Shiv Sena's MP Priyanka Chaturvedi, who had criticized the cut last evening, said truth though is that the government of India's policies are a result of oversight, hence the failing economy.
If the government had its way and the Public Provident Fund rate cut had taken place, it would have been the lowest since 1974, a 46-year low at 6.4%. Nevertheless, the government has decided to keep it on hold till June end, when it will revisit the matter. In New Delhi, Sunil Prabhu, NDTV.
While we've been talking about rate cuts and the election impact, let's just look also at the COVID impact of election campaigns. If you just compare the last 2 weeks when election campaigns have been in the swing in the major election states versus the previous 2 weeks, just look at how much the percentage of the case rise is in these states. So we can see there the rate of increase is actually gone up worryingly, especially with state infrastructure focused on the elections. Who's actually looking at COVID? So we can look there at the numbers that have gone up. Meanwhile, of course, the big focus in Nandigram, the Chief Minister's fight to the finish. She was out touring Nandigram, where she's a candidate from various booths. At one polling booth, there was actually a face-off between her and BJP workers shouting slogans. She actually called the governor up from the polling booth, accusing the Home Minister of using central forces and saying outsiders, goons, had been brought in to actually disrupt voting. However, the Prime Minister, also in a rally today in a different part of Bengal, said it is clear that she has now accepted she's defeated.
High drama in high-stakes Nandigram. Jai Shri Ram slogans greeting Mamta Banerjee at Boyal village when she came to find out why her polling agent had allegedly been stopped by BJP workers from entering the booth. She wheelchaired her way right inside, but outside, an eyeball-to-eyeball confrontation that could have spun out of control between BJP and TMC supporters. These villagers rushed to the school and started shouting Jai Shri Ram slogans, very, very angry with Mamta Banerjee. You can see the BJP supporters there shouting, clapping, clearly feeling that they have the upper hand in this hostile situation, so resembling of a battlefield, with two sides facing off on two sides, and Mamta Banerjee, the Chief Minister of the state, stuck, incarcerated in a room over there inside the polling booth.
She's been camping here since yesterday, so her car is going to go inside Nandigram. Her principal opponent, Shubhendu Adhikari, has also been campaigning through the day. We have seen him campaigning through the course of the day. Beg your pardon, going from station to station, polling station to polling station.
Both central and state forces tested in the tense standoff. Officers ran up and down to cajole and negotiate a pushback by BJP TMC supporters. Mamta Banerjee, once she was wheelchaired back to the main road, said she did not blame the central forces but Home Minister Amit Shah.
क्या करेगा बेचारा? वो लोग तो सेंट्रल फोर्सेस है, हम उसको लिए आई एम प्राउड ऑफ देम, हम उसको हमारा बाबा सिस्टर मानते हैं, लेकिन वो तो होम मिनिस्टर इंस्ट्रक्शन दिया है, क्यों इलेक्शन कमीशन होम मिनिस्टर के इंस्ट्रक्शन सुनेगा?
Mamta also took a swipe at the Prime Minister, asking why he was campaigning in Bengal on voting day. He had two rallies in Bengal. He taunted her right back.
अभी कुछ ही देर पहले नंदीग्राम में जो हुआ वो हम सब ने देखा है। ये दिखाता है दीदी अपनी हार मान चुकी है।
The Trinamool retorted, saying Nandigram was Mamta's. Her rival Shubhendu Adhikari also visited the booth.
Are we going to see any
Matter is now over. Lotus are blooming.
आपने यार एक बार अपना डायलॉग तो बोलते हैं बार-बार
Hare Krishna Hare BJP Hare.
Voting is over, but Nandigram is still on edge, and post-poll violence a real possibility. With Anurag Dwari and Sanket Upadhyay in Nandigram, Monideepa Banerjee, NDTV.
Moving to Assam, where there's violence just before voting ended today in Barak Valley in Assam, which of course is a closely contested area. Ratnadeep reports on why this phase of voting is so important for Assam.
A good turnout at Silchar from early morning despite heavy rain overnight. But the polling remained overshadowed by polarization. The 15 seats today in Barak Valley of Assam, of which the incumbent BJP won 8. Now it's facing the Congress's Majot alliance with Ajmal and the possible consolidation of the approximately 48% Muslim votes. With Congress and Ajmal joining hands, a counter-push in favor of BJP is perhaps inevitable. Even in Congress stronghold like Tarapur, home turf of Women Congress Chief Sushmita Deb. However, strikingly, the youth of Barak Valley are looking beyond polarizing issues.
हम लोग का जो मुद्दा है कोई भी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी ला नहीं सका है, नहीं इस बार देखता है क्या करता है, सब तो कमिटमेंट करता है लेकिन असल मुद्दा पे काम नहीं करता है.
For the BJP to hold on to the 8 seats it won in 2016 in Barak Valley is important to counter Majot surge.
हाँ, ये बात सही है, हिंदू मुसलमान का बात आता है. आज का दिन में इन लोग कोशिश में है कि अजमल को इन लोग मुख्यमंत्री बनाएगा.
Can an alliance partner with 14 seats demand a chief minister? No. तो आप एक बार you can use communal politics, but today people are hungry, people are jobless, people are fed up of corruption and syndicate.
In the other regions of Assam that went to poll today, watchers believe that BJP has an edge, and therefore the Mahajot would be hoping for a total consolidation of anti-BJP votes in Barak Valley, whereas the BJP would be hoping to hold on to its stronghold from where it once started its electoral journey. In Silchar, with camera person Sanjay Chakravarti, Ratndeep Chaudhary, YNDTV.
And a quick look at other news. Well, in a decision which will only impact Pakistan, the Pakistan Prime Minister's U-turn, he's blocked a decision by senior ministers to allow Indian imports. The Imran Khan government says no India imports till Article 370 restored in Jammu and Kashmir. India's official response is awaited, but of course, India will say that Pakistan has no business to interfere in India's internal affairs.